Hello, you are listening to Anna Community Radio, the first community radio in India. Many of us may experience of alternative career. Today let us listen to such kind of experience with the experts.
Good afternoon. We are back today with Tarunya Shankar. The last time she told us about alternative careers and we are moving on to another one today. Welcome, Tarunya.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here and to talk about this topic in particular because I think it has so much value, especially in the city of Chennai.
Yes, and we're going to talk about the arts today, and in future we hope to bring you more options in alternative careers. So keep tuned and stay tuned in. So Tarunya, let us first explain the purpose of this discussion.
So, my perspective with art has always been that it's a beautiful form of communication, and it's a form of communication that's capable of being universal. And the more validity we give it as a vocation, as a career path that people can follow, the more we make that form of communication universal. And I think that makes it really important.
Oh, that's nice. What are the possibilities in this form of alternative career in the arts?
So I would say there are multiple possibilities when you're looking at arts careers. Of course, there's the mainstream ones, right, which is professional singer, professional dancer, professional actor. But these are difficult goals to reach. So it becomes a question of how do you mix those with day-to-day ordinary life. All of us aren't going to become George Clooney or Surya, right? But what can we do with acting in the here and the now as a annual vocation, a source of income, and you getting to live out your passion. So one thing I would suggest is, that I have seen is merging your chosen art form with the mainstream industry. So you can look at education, you can look at commerce, and you can see how you can merge your art form there, like creating logos, doing logo design or product design. Or one interesting thing that I heard of from a friend of mine who is an actor is he performed with a troupe that basically gave performances at companies. So they would go to the corporate offices and they would give short skits about various office relations and office related things, like how do you interact with people or deal with certain situations.
Using art for management.
Yeah,
Very
using
nice.
art for management,
Perfect.
using art in many different ways. So that's one major thing. Another would be combining aesthetic with business. So this is for people that take up pure art forms like drawing or painting and things like that. Where can you combine it with business related things?
Excellent. So to do this, what kind of educational background do you need?
So there are first and foremost direct degrees that you can get, even in Chennai, but all over the world, of course. You can pursue a course in design or in artistry and something like that, and you can get a direct degree, or from Trinity Musical College, Juilliard in New York, KM Conservatory here, right? Okay. So you can get a direct degree. Other alternatives would be supplementary courses. So say you're pursuing engineering but you really like art, you can always do an online course and up your skill, which is extremely important with this. And I think the last thing that you would need in terms of an educational requirement is to talk to experts and others in the field. That's an amazing way to learn.
So what I wanted to know was also, when you say that you can equip yourself in other ways, is there any organization that advises you, do you have any counseling available to lead you to alternative careers? Is that available in Chennai today?
So absolutely, depending on what you're looking for, of course, but I would say there are, because we have a lot of art galleries here. So if you're a painter or a drawer and you want to know what you can do with it, you can go to an art gallery and you can ask someone that's been in the industry for a while. Maybe not necessarily the organization, but they might lead you to a good organization. When it comes to music, we have so many colleges across not just the city but the state that we can go to for help and advice in different fields. So organization wise, there may not be any one organization that says come here to know more about arts industry, but there are enough institutions across the city that you can approach for help.
That's true. How does Chennai fare in this business of alternative careers, and also how remunerative is it? Is Chennai a hub?
Chennai is absolutely a hub. I would say, especially when you're at the beginning of that career. If you're just trying to start out in a career in arts, like maybe you've done engineering or you've done law for a while and you're trying to move into the arts sector, Chennai is a great place to start because we love arts here. We are such connoisseurs of art.
Right.
Our kacheri season is everything. People fly from all over the world.
True, very true.
Whether it's home or not, they come to see it.
Right.
You know, Music Academy, Nadagana Sabha are hubs of beautiful performances.
Right.
We've got about 30 or 40 beautiful art galleries all across the city.
Right.
In Nungambakam, if you're looking for modern art, Alvarpet has Focus Art Gallery, and when it comes to the theatre scene, also we don't hold back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've got Masquerade, we've got Landing Stage, we've got Kriya Shakti, all different theatre troupes that
So true.
that run all through the year. And in addition to that, we also have our accessibility to Pondicherry and Auroville that are known for their handicrafts as
Yes.
well as their theatre scene.
Yes. So that brings me to the other question about this. Performing arts is a built-in sort of remunerative benefit in it. What about non-performing arts? Where, you know, do they have sponsorships, or how does it work? Is there a good market for it?
So I would say the market for pure arts, right, like painting and drawing and stuff,
Yes.
it's a lot less in Chennai, but it's growing, which is what's really good. Like I said, we have so many galleries now and handicraft expos. I live near CP Art Center, and they are constantly displaying new things and new
Absolutely.
businesses. You know, so it's the idea of how do you channel your art form into an actual business. Are you selling your art, or are you just creating it and then looking to see if people might buy it?
Right.
Because they're two different things.
Correct.
You know?
Does it work better to be in an individual space, or part of an organization, or an associate of another institution? How does it work?
So institutional backing is always great to have, but it definitely starts with the individual. You have to hone in your skill, I think, and you need to look for which are the institutions you would want to work with, and which are the people that are, like, even if you look at music, do you want to do the live music scene and do fusion type of music, or do you
Yes.
want to go into pure Carnatic, or do you want to do something fusion and Carnatic? Because then you would have totally different institutions that you would be looking at. And all of these types exist now in Chennai.
Are there organizations, private organizations, or businesses?
Not necessarily businesses, but there are, like I said, institutions like Trinity Music of College. It's originally started in the UK, but it has a huge holding in Chennai. I myself attended a class at an academy in Santhome which taught the Trinity course. So they are Trinity certified.
So what about the media channels? Radio, television?
Oh, those have
Infinite possibilities, right?
yeah, over here.
And
I mean,
online videos?
exactly. These are the best places to start growing. And a lot of people, you know, because Chennai is such a hub for so many people in the whole of Tamil Nadu,
Correct.
a lot of the best comedy skits, which is the kind of stuff I like, starts with people in Chennai. I think one pretty famous comedian now, I think Arvind Essay is his name.
Yeah.
He's a Mylapore kid. So
Right,
he's in the
right.
US talking about Mylapore, and I'm like my brother. You know, so these are the kind of
Absolutely.
opportunities. Like the comedy scene here has become beautiful. Savera and
The English stand-up, right?
yeah, English stand-up, and now they're also allowing fusions there as well. You know,
And I would have never thought 10 years ago that somebody could just stand and just crack some jokes, and then people would pay 2,000 rupees ticket for it, right?
yeah,
So that's what is happening now.
exactly.
What is the level of skill that people need? A lot of people aspire to join, and they might even be educated in the field, but then again, skill is another thing. Is it innate or is it acquired? What do you think? Have you, from your friends, and what do you feel it is?
I definitely think it's a combination of both. There's a certain portion of it that's innate, and I think that's your interest. That's what draws you to it. That's what makes you
Right.
think I'm going to pick up a pen and a pencil, a pen and a paper and do something.
Yes.
But it definitely needs to be acquired, because that base skill will not take you to a place where you will make it your vocation. It just becomes a hobby then. But when you do it and do it and do it and you perfect it, you learn the different styles to it, you learn how other people have done it, and you
Right.
turn it into your area of expertise.
Perfect.
That essentially allows it to become your career and
Okay.
a vocational thing. That's
useful. I've run into people who are in the performing arts, in the line of music, So I know a few people who are instrumentalists. It is a struggle, Tarunya, because they have had, that is the mindset that they need to develop. If you are into this, then you know that you are not going to immediately see success, because your success would depend on acceptance and appreciation from the other person, right, or the viewers or the audience. So you have to be patient enough to build your career. You can't be certain about success. So there is it's a bit iffy in that way. It's a high risk area. It's not an assured, you don't know how much income you're going to make in this particular month or in the next month. So family support is very important in pursuing alternative careers, as we saw last time as well.
Yeah.
Again, money becomes a very big question mark, because a young person who's coming out into the city and wants to make a living out of performing arts has to be ready to struggle without any money for a long time. So do you think it would help to have coaches psychologically to prepare people like this? Otherwise disappointment sometimes breaks them completely. I have known people who didn't finally just give up dance completely because they haven't been able to get the right breaks, and they reach a point, they've not improved further, they've not got the right break, they're not making money, and at some point they just want to give up and just go to an IT company. So how do you keep people in without the two parts of the question are, one is, would it be advisable to hold a job and do it? A lot of people do it. And the second thing is, do you need psychological help at some stage?
I think we definitely need psychological help. I'm sorry, I'm answering your second question first.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I definitely think that psychological and supportive system should exist in some way,
Right.
especially because in a lot of cases you might not get family support. That's a
Right.
very high possibility, and
Correct.
you can't really blame your family for that, because for them the concern is what's your plan in the long run, and
Right,
you're also
right.
coming from a place of I'm not sure yet, right? So that is definitely needed, and I think that's why there have been a lot more forums developing,
right.
and I think that's also why it's important for us to have this discussion. So if you've been in that kind of place, like for me, I've been in that place with writing, and now
Okay.
I do try very hard to create an environment where all of my writers can talk to me, and
Okay.
and any writer I interact with, even if they don't work with me long term, I try to stay in touch with, because
Right.
I think it's important for them to know staying the course can have value if you do it the right way.
Okay.
And negatives are going to be a part of that, and this is how you can work through them.
Right.
And I can say that because I've done it. So
Okay.
having people around who have that expertise, a lot of people I know, like musicians who've taken up instruments, like you've said, I have a friend who plays the guitar and he's self-taught. So
Right,
a lot
right.
of artists I know are self-taught.
Right.
But after he reached a certain level of expertise, he decided he wanted to push himself, right? Like you said, the whole thing is to keep improving. And when we
Right,
stop
right,
improving is when we start to lose hope.
Correct.
So he searched out for one of the more famous guitarists in Chennai, one of the more talented ones, who's worked
Right.
in the industry for about
Right,
50 years.
right.
He himself be in his late 60s, and he's been in the
Right,
industry for
right,
45 to 50
right.
years. So he gets a lot of help from him, and it's just small exercises. It's not like he sits him down and gives him
I
also emotional
get what you
advice.
mean. So this is like the second part. The first part is about, do you think you need to hold a job?
I would say that until you have a clear path on how you're going to get regular remuneration from your art form, it's
Right.
definitely good to hold down another job. Even if it's a part-time job, it's something. You want
Right.
to know
I
that
want to
things-
give a word of caution to those who are listening in or watching, because sometimes aptitude, not even sometimes, a lot of times aptitude plays an important role, and it's important to get assessed by somebody who's a professional to see where you're headed, to review performance at every stage and see if you are capable of making a career out of this, because sometimes just chasing a dream without a proper backing of your skill levels or proper improvements and other support systems, it just becomes a sort of endless marathon where you don't know where the finish line is. So it's very important to have realistic goals. So that realism comes from being realistic comes from assessment, proper assessment, mentors and advice from people. So I would caution everybody against taking blind decisions just because you like some field.
Yeah,
So-
to add to what you said, I would say chase the dream, but chase it like it's reality. Because it is.
Right. That's true. And to put all this together in the end, what do you think about entrepreneurship in the arts? Because that's a big question we have when you are, especially if you're an individual and you're not attached to an organization. and you are in non-performing, then at some level you need to have entrepreneurship to sustain, right?
Absolutely. I, in fact, think for people who have not come about come to their artistic career through the institutional channels, I think having entrepreneurial skills is a high priority actually, because that teaches you how to give actual physical value, tangible value, not physical, but
Right.
tangible value
Right.
to this art form that you've chosen.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
it's the idea of, I know that I paint beautifully, but it's not just a question of painting and giving and telling people to buy it. How do I sell my art? How do I
Right.
really make people want it? And
Right.
that's what entrepreneurial skills in general will teach you. And
Yeah.
that's very important. Like, I know how to write, but my original goal, which was to just be a novelist, was not something that was sustainable. So
Right.
finding out how to put my art form into a way that
Right.
contributes and also contributes to the world and also contributes to my
Perfect.
financial status
Right.
was my priority.
That seems very practical. I think going forward, we hope to bring in people who are in the alternative careers as guests and have a discussion along with them, and that would actually give people a better picture of the real life scenario out there, the industry. So I think we look forward to having your guests next time with us.
Yes,
Tarunya. Thank you for explaining this very nicely.
My pleasure. Like I said, this is a topic that I'm immensely passionate about, and I want to encourage people in the world, kids, older people, whatever, who have a passion,
Right.
to really take it and try to pursue it, but to do so seriously and to give
Absolutely.
it that kind of validation that it deserves.
Right, right.
You know?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hope you have enjoyed the talk. Meet you next time in some other program.